Alongside you, we welcome Class Charlie, the technical line officers, which includes professionals from various fields, lawyers, doctors, nurses, chaplains, dentists, medical technologies, and veterinarians, and of course, psychologists. Your expertise is essential to the holistic development of our organization, ensuring the PCG remains resilient and fully equipped to handle not only maritime security and safety, but also the legal, medical, and spiritual needs of our personnel and the communities we serve. Adaptability is at the core of our mission. As the ever-changing maritime environment presents unforeseen challenges from natural disasters and search and rescue operations to law enforcement and national security. A true Coast Guardian is defined by the ability to adjust, learn, and overcome adversity. Many before you have faced turbulent seas and unpredictable threats, but those who tried to embrace change, learn from experience, and evolve to meet the mission's demand. This transformation is not an individual effort, but a collective one, made possible by the invaluable contribution of stakeholders who support the training and development of future Coast Guardians. Their dedication ensures that we uphold the highest standards of maritime security and service to our nation. Equally deserving of our gratitude are the men and women of the Philippine Coast Guard, particularly our tactical officers, drill instructors, and training staff. Your unwavering dedication to instilling discipline, resilience, and operational excellence in our trainees is the foundation upon which this organization stands strong. Through your guidance and mentorship, you shape these aspiring Coast Guardians into competent, dependable, and mission-ready professionals. To Class Alpha and Class Charlie, approach this training with passion and determination. The journey will be demanding, but success comes from adaptability, perseverance, and growth. The PCG is a commitment to serve and protect, not just an institution. Uphold honor, integrity, and dedication, support one another, and prove that your class stands for excellence in service of the Philippine Coast Guard. Best of luck and welcome to the PCG family. The sea awaits your courage, leadership, and commitment. Fairly and following seas muli, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir, for that inspiring message.
At this juncture, we will be witnessing the giving of memento by the Commander, Coast Guard Education, Training, and Doctrine Command, to be assisted by the Superintendent, Philippine Coast Guard Academy, to the keynote speaker, Vice Admiral EDGAR 𝐂𝐿, Philippine Coast Guard, Deputy Commandant for Operations, Philippine Coast Guard.
The memento is a capiz shell candle holder adorned with a butterfly, symbolizes transformation and resilience. The shell represents strength and adaptability, while the butterfly reflects the trainee's journey into disciplined officers. Like a candle's flame in darkness, may this token remind us to uphold duty with integrity and dedication.
At this moment, the Coast Guard Officers Course Class 32-2025 Alpha is repositioning to the side of the parade ground in preparation for the reception rites of CGOC Class 31-2025 Charlie. The CGOC Class Alpha is composed of graduates from maritime academies, including the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, the Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific, and the United States Coast Guard Academy. Having already completed 4 years of intensive training, they will undergo the Coast Guard Officers course. to reinforce Philippine Coast Guard customs, traditions, and standards, ensuring their seamless integration to the organization.
Meanwhile, Class Charlie composed of civilian professionals including medical doctors, lawyers, priests, and experts in technical fields will undergo the reception rites today, marking the beginning of their journey as technical officers of the Philippine Coast Guard.
Yung audio, hindi ko malaman kung bakit nag-off siya.
Nawawala na naman daw.
Nakatatlong ano.
The second attention call has just been sounded, signaling the entrance of the receiving party.
One of the numerous activities participated by the Coast Guard Student Officers or CGSOs. In this moment, they are turned over as trainees aboard the Regional Training Center Bataan. It is the Coast Guard's customary way of receiving the candidates in preparing them to be skilled, competent, and committed Coast Guard officers. Here, they will undergo a rigorous training that will test their skills and commits, which will ensure that only the best of the best shall remain and only the most committed individuals are accepted in the novel profession, who to be qualified to be part of the Philippine Coast Guard service.
This day marks the first day of their Coast Guard career and the last day of their civilian lives. Traditionally, the Coast Guard student officers are received by the junior officers and drill instructors of the Philippine Coast Guard, who will give them series of exercises to perform. These exercises include sit-ups, push-ups, squat thrusts, jumping jacks, and several other exercises, which are just a foretaste of what they will undergo during the rigorous and challenging training, which includes few months of bootcamp aboard this training ground.
For these few first months of the training, the Coast Guard student officers will experience the so-called bootcamp, which is designed to transform the candidates from their civilian way of life and thinking to life in the uniformed service. Discipline is strictly indoctrinated, and the right attitude is instilled to them. Likewise, introduction to Coast Guard knowledges, customs, traditions, and practices are given emphasis. These trainees will undergo a detailed program, which may either precede or follow the common recruit training. During this stage, they must adhere to the strict rules and regulations, such as hygiene and uniform regulations, and they are trained to follow all law and orders.
After the bootcamp, the academic part will be introduced. The Coast Guard student officers will have subjects in their
Reception rites serve as a simple yet profound ceremony designed to assess and measure an applicant's physical strength and mental resilience before formal training begins. It is one of the most grueling challenges a civilian must overcome before earning the title of Coast Guard Student Officer in the Philippine Coast Guard. This receiving tradition signifies the official commencement of an applicant's structured military life. More than just a test of endurance, it marks the beginning of their transformation from a civilian into a professional. Through this rite of passage, the CGSO is introduced to the rigorous demands of service, instilling the mindset, fortitude, and commitment required to uphold the values of the Philippine Coast Guard.
There is sexual rights. It's the longest recognition of every person in the officer's life. Overseen by YBAñEZ Member Course Director, practical officers, and drill instructors. It is characterized by a lot of chanting and dedication.
Following the goal of breaking the spirit of any Coast Guard student officer who is not ready, much less fit for the hard life in the trade in the Philippine Coast Guard service. The new Coast Guard student officers. Perception is the final moment for an individual to realize whether he is meant for the noble profession of arms.
Hire. The word hire is the first common command given to Coast Guard student officers during their reception day, marking their introduction to the regimented life of training. It is issued while they are jogging in class and upon proper demonstration by officers or instruction. It requires them to raise their knees above the normal height of a stationary jog. To the untrained eye, this command may seem like a mere tool for officers or instructors to impose difficulty on Coast Guard student officers. However, its true purpose goes beyond physical exertion. Compliance with this order instilled discipline, unwavering perseverance, and the mental fortitude to push beyond one's perceived limits. It teaches the trainee to embrace challenges, endure hardships, and develop the mindset that no task is insurmountable. Through this exercise, training has confronted the limits of their endurance under extreme conditions, gains the confidence to overcome any obstacle. By the end of their training, they will have every reason to affirm with conviction, no amount.
Shouting at the confused Coast Guard student officer, while often perceived as harsh or inhumane. Shouting at deliberately disorienting. The CGSO is a fundamental aspect of extra exhibition in training. It is not intended as a means but as high-pressure situations where confusion, urgency, and mental fatigue are constant factors. This stimulated chaos is designed to push the CGSO beyond their perceived limits, forcing them to either break under pressure or develop the resilience necessarily to perform effectively in the real-world operations. By enduring these conditions, they learn to think critically, reasonably, and maintain and very focus on the tasks at hand, regardless of external sections. Their success depends on their ability to adapt, and execute commands with precision, reinforcing the discipline and mental toughness expected of a Coast Guard officer.
Supervised class exercises. These structured physical training sessions involve authorized and specifically designated exercises such as sit-ups, squat thrusts, and flyers and others. These exercises are conducted by officers and instructors to build the physical stamina of Coast Guard student officers. Beyond physical endurance, mass exercises instill discipline and unit cohesion.
Under the scorching heat of the sun, and the grounds of Bagac, these brave men and women hurdled their sexual rights and accepted the challenge of giving up their civilian lives in order to become professionals and efficient Coast Guard leaders. Through the Coast Guard officers' course, the Philippine this organization produces highly trained, motivated, and skilled officers, always ready to be called upon to service towards God, country, and people.
Coast Guard Student Officers, or CGSOs. In this moment, they are turned over as trainees aboard Official Training Center Bataan. It is the Coast Guard's customary way of receiving the candidates in preparing them to be skilled, competent, and committed Coast Guard officers. Here, they will undergo a rigorous training that will test their skills and limits, which will ensure that only the best of the best shall remain and only the most dedicated individuals are accepted in this noble profession, who will be qualified to be part of the Philippine Coast Guard service.
Is the longest 30 minutes of every Coast Guard student officer's life, overseen by no less than the course directors, tactical officers, and drill instructors. It is characterized by a lot of shouting and confusion, all with the goal of breaking the spirit of any Coast Guard student officer who is not ready, much less fit for the hard life in the Philippine Coast Guard service. The new Coast Guard student officer's reception is the final moment for an individual to realize whether he is
This day marks the first day of their Coast Guard career and the last day of their civilian life. Traditionally, the Coast Guard officers are received by the junior officers who will instruct them of the Philippine Coast Guard. Jumping jacks, and several other exercises which are just foretastes of what they would undergo during the rigorous and challenging training, which includes few months of bootcamp aboard the training ground. For the first few months of the training, the Coast Guard student officers will experience the so-called bootcamp, which is designed to transform the candidates from their civilian way of life and thinking to life in the uniformed service. This is strictly indoctrinated, and the right attitude in the service is instilled to them. Likewise, introduction to Coast Guard knowledges, customs, traditions, and practices are given emphasis. These trainees will undergo a practical program, which may either proceed or follow the common training. During this stage, they must adhere to the strict rules and regulations, such as hygiene and uniform regulations, and they are trained to follow all lawful orders.
shouting at the confused Coast Guard student officer, while often perceived as harsh or inhumane,
shouting or deliberately disorienting as is CGSO. Is a fundamental aspect of stress conditioning and training. It is not intended as mere intimidation, but as a control method to expose trainees to high-pressure situations where confusion, urgency, and constant factors. This simulated chaos is designed to push the CGSO beyond their respective limits, forcing them to either break under pressure or develop the resilience necessarily to perform effectively in real-world operations. By enduring these conditions, they learn to think critically, react decisively, and maintain an unwavering focus on the task at hand, regardless of external distractions. Their success depends on their ability to adapt, remain composed, and execute commands with precision, reinforcing the discipline and mental toughness expected of Coast Guard officer.
Hire. The word hire is the first command given to Coast Guard student officers during their reception day, marking their introduction to the regimented life of training. It is issued while they are jogging in place, and upon proper demonstration by officers or instructors, requires them to raise their knees above the normal height of the jog. Coast Guard student officers. However, it's strictly as closely as compliance with this hardships and development tactics and survival. Through this exercise, a trainee who has a technical limits of their endurance under extreme conditions, being the confidence roll about.
Ma'am, like ko, ma'am.
Shouting at a confused Coast Guard student officer. While often perceived as harsh or inhuman, shouting at or deliberately disorienting a Coast Guard student officer is a fundamental aspect of stress conditioning and training. It is not intended as mere intimidation, but as a control where confusion, urgency, and mental fatigue are constant factors. Is designed to push a Coast Guard beyond their perceived limits, pushing them to either break under pressure or develop the resilience necessary to perform in real-world operations. By enduring these conditions, they learn to think critically, react decisively, and maintain unwavering focus on the task at hand, regardless of external distractions. Their success is an ability to adapt, remain composed, and execute commands with precision, reinforcing the discipline and mental toughness expected of a Coast Guard officer. Supervised mass exercises. These structured physical training sessions involve authorized and specifically designated exercises such as push-ups, sit-ups, thrusts, and mounting, among others. These exercises are conducted by officers and instructors to build their physical stamina of Coast Guard student officers. Beyond physical endurance, mass exercises instill discipline and unit cohesion. Through repetition, each participant realizes that they are part of a team that must operate as one, support one another, and maintain unwavering awareness of their fellow trainees. By the end of each session, a Coast Guard student officer emerges not only physically stronger, but also more confident in their team.
after the boot camp. The academic part will be introduced. The Coast Guard student officers will have subjects in their academic load, depending on the class schedule. This schedule will continue until the end of the course, where it is expected that the candidates have already completed all the course requirements.
Hello, good morning.
The attention call has just been sounded, signaling that the reception rites has come to an end.
Sa PO eh. Isa po ganda ng alagas. Pare.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of the Philippine Coast Guard Academy hymn to the Philippine